Earlier, on January 6, a strike by a Russian Iskander-M tactical ballistic missile system destroyed parts of a Ukrainian Air Force S-300 PS air defense system near the city of Pavlograd in the Dnipropetrovsk region. The location represents one of the westernmost positions at which hostilities are ongoing, as Ukraine has continued to lose ground in its resource-rich Russian-speaking regions. Components of the S-300 system destroyed appear to include 5 N-63S command post, the 30 N-6 illumination and guidance radar, and accompanying support vehicles. Ukraine previously deployed Europe's largest and most capable network of surface-to-air missile systems, with S-300P, PS, PT and V systems having been concentrated there in considerable numbers by the Soviet armed forces when the country disintegrated, alongside complementary shorter-ranged systems such as the medium-ranged Buk. Although dating back to the 1980s, these systems were cutting-edge and considered well ahead of their time during the Cold War, which allowed them to present a primary impediment to Russian advances when full-scale hostilities broke out in February 2022. Shortages of S-300s and other air defense systems has long been a leading concern for Ukraine's supporters, with multiple NATO members having responded by seriously depleting their inventories of American MIM-104 Patriot long-range air defense systems to rearm Ukraine. With Western Bloc states deploying ground-based air defense systems in small fractions of the quantities which the Soviet Union did, however, their capacity to make up for losses is seriously limited. As early as November 2022, Ukrainian Air Force Chief Spokesperson Colonel Yuri Ignat told the London-based Financial Times that the inability to procure additional missiles for the S-300 and Buk systems posed a major threat, indicating that the service's ability to continue to fire 2 missiles at each incoming Russian projectile, as was standard practice for air defense units, would be undermined. In April 2023, leaks of secret documents from the U.S. Department of Defense showed that there were rising concerns within the Pentagon regarding the state of the Ukrainian Air Force's surface-to-air missile network. Pentagon officials assessed that Ukrainian air defenses assigned to protect forces on the front lines would be completely reduced by late May that year, allowing Russian air power to play a much greater role on the battlefield in support of its ground forces. This did indeed materialize, with Russian airstrikes widely reported to have played a growing role in supplementing the country's considerable artillery superiority. Ukrainian army frontline personnel have lamented the additional devastating power of Russian bombing, stressing that they were obliterating their underground bunkers and opening Hell's Gates on their positions. The weaker Ukraine's air defense network has become, the more easily the Russian Air Force has been able to provide support to ground forces. Iskander-M ballistic missile systems have been used to great effect against Ukrainian surface-to-air missile systems from 2024 in particular, allowing them to serve as force multipliers that significantly increase the vulnerability of nearby Ukrainian forces. In March, footage showed the systems striking Ukrainian Patriot and S-300 systems, while in July footage showed them destroying 2 batteries from another Patriot system near the settlement Yuzhnoye in the Odessa region. Footage released on August 17 showed the destruction of 3 surface-to-air missile batteries from a U.S.-supplied MIM-104 Patriot air defense system in the Lyubomovka settlement in Ukraine's Dnipropetrovsk region using cluster munitions. On December 15, an Iskander strike was confirmed to have destroyed an AN/MPQ-65 radar station and 4 surface-to-air missile launchers from another Patriot system, coinciding with attacks targeting infrastructure at Ukrainian military airfields, personnel concentrations, and military equipment in 146 areas. Successful strikes on S-300 systems, which are fielded much more widely, have been significantly more common. The Ukrainian Army, Air Force and Navy inherited a lot of air defense equipment when the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991. These included 6 brigades and 4 regiments of S-300s that cascaded to the Ukrainian Air Force, plus additional S-300s that the Army took over. An S-300 launcher can lob a 2-ton, proximity fuse missile as far as 125 miles, depending on the model. An S-300 brigade includes several battalions, each of which oversees multiple batteries. A battery usually includes separate acquisition and engagement radars, a command vehicle and up to a dozen launchers, each with 4 ready-to-fire missiles. As such, an S-300 brigade might field 100 or more launchers and more than 400 ready missiles. An S-300 regiment usually has 4 batteries together operating up to 48 launchers with a combined 192 missiles. Now, in most armies, and Ukraine certainly is no exception, actual fielded forces rarely match the official table of organization and equipment. Thus, Kyiv's 10 or more S-300 brigades and regiments together operated only half the batteries their official toes implied. Still, it was a significant force, and one that has managed to absorb steady losses from Russian rockets and cruise missiles. The open-source intelligence analysts at the Oryx blog, who confirm wartime equipment losses by way of photos and videos in the media, place Ukraine's S-300 attrition at 21 launchers.